My name is Michael. I'm from the United States. And when I was 13 years old, my parents told me something that made my stomach drop. You're scheduled for circumcision. At first, I laughed nervously, thinking it wasn't a big deal. But as the day got closer, the fear started creeping in. At 13, you know exactly what's going to happen. You imagine the pain. You imagine the embarrassment. You imagine the recovery. The night before the surgery, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, every thought louder than the last. Why now? Why not when I was a baby? Why do I have to remember this? The morning came too quickly. My parents drove me to the hospital in silence. I can still remember the smell of disinfectant, the squeak of shoes on the floor, the cold fluorescent lights that made everything feel sterile and unwelcoming. When the nurse called my name, my heart started pounding. I tried to act brave, but inside I was terrified. They gave me anesthesia, and within minutes I was out. When I woke up, it was done. But that's when the real nightmare began. The pain wasn't sharp, it was constant, throbbing. A reminder with every step I took. Sitting down hurt, standing up hurt, even lying in bed hurt. For days I shuffled around the house, wincing with every movement. School was even worse. I couldn't play basketball, couldn't join gym class, couldn't even walk normally without my friends asking questions. I felt embarrassed, trapped between being a kid and being a patient. Nights were the hardest, tossing and turning, trying to find a position that didn't sting, waking up to the burning ache that refused to let me rest. And every morning, my mom had to help me clean the wound and change the dressing. At 13, that was humiliating. I wanted independence. Instead, I felt small, weak, and helpless. I kept thinking about the babies in the hospital, the ones who had their circumcision done at birth. They cried for a few seconds, healed in a few days, and never remembered a thing. Meanwhile, I was living with weeks of discomfort, shame, and the kind of memory you never forget. It took nearly 6 weeks before I felt normal again. 6 weeks of pain, missed sports, and constant reminders of a choice that should have been made years earlier. Now, as I look back, I know it was the right decision for my health. Circumcision protects me from infections, lowers risks of serious diseases, and prevents complications I might have faced later in life. I'm glad it's done, but I also know this. If my parents had done it when I was a baby, it would have been easier, safer, quicker, painless, forgotten. So here's my message to parents. Don't wait. Don't let your son go through what I did. Circumcision is one of the best gifts you can give your child, but the earlier you give it, the better. I'll never forget the pain of being 13 and circumcised, but your son doesn't have to. Sometimes the difference between a painful memory and a lifetime of protection is just timing.